Welcome in. It is the S&S crew. And on this week's episode, we're going to talk the Philadelphia Eagles schedule, joined by my partner in crime, the favorite Hawk.
Yeah.
It's a star-studded roster, obviously. Probably the second best roster on paper. And excited. You know, obviously, Mackay Lemon, Greenland, see what these guys can do.
Yeah, no, we definitely restocked at wide receiver. We knew A.J. Brown was going. It was just a formality. They're not supposed to do any dealings or talk about it before June 1st, but the back room was full the whole time. Wicks, I love Dontavian Wicks. I think he's just going to be a fan favorite. Hollywood Brown, maybe a little long in the tooth, but he can still play with the best of them. And, of course, our man, Devontae. And, Mackay, let's do this. Saquon, he's been talking with Todd Gurley, and he's been studying up. Yeah. Why did I have the season that I had? Getting off a Super Bowl hangover, it happens to every player. But, it seemed like Saquon does not want to repeat last year, and I think he's going to be a man possessed.
I think we got a better O-line coming up for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I think the loss of Jason Kelce was a lot bigger than people expected it to be, but we're back, restocked. 8 primetime standalone games this year. Week 3, 7, 8, 12, 16, week 17, plus the London game in week 5, and then the Christmas Eve game. So that's week 16, so it's a lot of big-time games. Expecting the Eagles to be strong again. Let's take a look at their week 1 opponent. They're going to be hosting the Commandos. I think the spread's 4.5. Obviously a rivalry game. What are you expecting in this game for the Eagles, Jer?
Well, the Commanders are going to be pissed off. They thought, hey, we got a dynasty on our hands. Look at this. Look at this kid, Jaden Daniels. He's just slinging it. He's getting these amazing last-second wins. Sophomore jinx is gone. Let's bring it on back. I think the Eagles are going to have a tough time with this one. Maybe even only win by a field goal. I just think that Washington's going to be a lot better than people think this year. They're going to be playing with some anger.
Okay. You got the Eagles winning week 1 against the Commandos. Interesting to see the defense that Washington will have. Obviously, that was their Achilles heel. Let's slide on over to week 2 at the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee will be hosting the Jets in week 1, kind of a battle of the futile there. But week 2 in Tennessee, is this a pretty straightforward victory for the Eagles? What are you thinking?
Well, I probably projected spread, even though we don't know anything yet, and it's months and months away. It's probably going to be -7 for the road team, and that's quite an inflated spread. Tennessee's got to show, they have a great defense, and they usually do statistically, but they just can't win games. Brian Dable is a bit of a quarterback whisperer, so who knows? Maybe they'll have Cam ready. Maybe they'll keep this thing closer than it is. But I still see a blowout coming from the Eagles, covering that 7, the hypothetical 7, maybe even a hypothetical 10, until the Titans get it together. I think Sal's got challenges on his hands.
Well, the difference in talent is pretty large, right? I mean, Tennessee's best players are their second or third years, so definitely rebuilding. I think it'll be probably like an 8-point spread is what I'm thinking for Philadelphia, but we'll see. Still a ways to go. Let's go on to a big-time Monday Night Football Week 3 matchup against those upstart Bears. Was that just a one-and-done season for the Bears, or they have something cooking? Week 3 at Chicago. What are you thinking for this big matchup?
Kind of a little revenge game from last season there, Black Friday. So yeah, I'm kind of tossed up on this one. I don't know what to say. I'm gonna say stay away. I think Chicago's gonna keep doing what they're doing. I know they lost a couple pieces, but I think they're Ben Johnson's gonna have them at least competing for the division. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to just say pick them for this one. I'm not sure.
So you don't have a winner for this game?
No,
Like
I'm gonna
Chicago,
have
I
to
guess.
stay
Okay.
away.
I'll write down Chicago because if you're not taking Philadelphia, then you're definitely not leaning towards them. We'll go on to week 4. Off their, it'll be a bit of a short week. Big time, prime time. Well, it's not a prime time game. It's they're facing the Rams week 4, hosting them. 2 big matchups in a row, and obviously a bit of a short week. What do you see here? Do the Eagles have a chance against the Rams and their all-star team?
Yeah, like the Rams are going to be favored in almost all of their games now that they have Myles Garrett. I know it's only one player, but Miles can just be a game wrecker at times. When he's got an offense behind him, it's going to be crazy. Let's give it a hypothetical. If the Eagles have a bad start and end up losing a few games right off the hop, maybe go into that game 1-2, or maybe even 0-3, and everyone's down on them, I'm taking the Eagles big time. But if they're 3-0 or 2-1, and they're like, "Oh, we can hang with these guys," I think they're going to get pummeled at home. So that is my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, no, let's go on out to their game in London. Action-packed schedule here for the Eagles, like facing the Bears on Monday Night Football. Short week against the Rams, and then you got to fly out to jolly old London to face the Jaguars, which is kind of their second home, I guess. 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 our time. What are you thinking for the Week 5 matchup?
Jaguars are comfortable over there. They're used to the flight now. Like, how many flights have they taken in the last 5 years? Probably like 20 or 30. So yeah, and it's huge. Athletes get used to a routine, and when that routine gets broken, the skill level can just go down quite a bit. I'm going to take the Jags. I think they dominate in London, win all their games in London, and I think they're going to definitely compete for their division. Jags, baby.
We got the Jaguars taking that one. We'll go on to Week 6 against the division winners, Carolina Panthers. Eagles hosting it. Can Carolina hang with the Eagles coming off 3 big matchups?
Yeah, again, like I said, if they're down and out and it's Carolina, they're not going to take them lightly.
We'll look at the matchups just in a bubble, in a vacuum, whereas like there's no other parameters, losing streaks, just like one-off, right? Like,
yeah.
Can Carolina come into Philadelphia and win that one? That's going to be pretty tough, don't you think?
I'm going to say Philadelphia is going to win, but they're gonna have to be in the moment. Like, they can't just cross that one off the schedule like a lot of guys do.
Yeah, I think
teams.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Bryce Young. Does he continue to get better, or does he level off? Because first couple of years was really rough. I know he was written off by a lot of people, but seems like they kind of turned the corner. They got some talent there in Carolina, and so Week 6, we're expecting Philly to take that one. Week 7, rivalry game. Dem Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Eagles hosting. Big game. Cowboys got a lot of hope, as usual. What do you think for Week 7, Philadelphia and Dallas?
Yeah, with that revamped defense and one of the best offenses in the league. Yeah, no, I'm gonna take Dallas. I'm thinking that they're pissed. They could have done something last year and just couldn't get over the hump. So I think they're going to be men possessed this year. The Cowboys, unfortunately.
Defense definitely is their issue, and probably their running game as well. They don't exactly have one of the top running backs in the league, but they're kind of going by committee. And I mean, drafting some decent pieces in Dallas, but I don't know. You trade away Micah Parsons, and you're just kind of replacing him with kind of similar type of guys. Just don't have that same cachet. But I don't know. Everyone's kind of, there's always a lot of hype around Dallas, and then the season happens, and then they don't make the playoffs, and it's a bit of a circus. But I mean, a good rivalry game. I'm looking forward to it. And another rivalry game, it's going to be Week 8 at the Commanders, NBC Sunday Night Football. So like 2 straight primetime games. Will be another short week. What do you think for this one in Washington?
Yeah, well, I'll go with the Birds, but again, I know I'm a broken record, but I think Washington I think our whole division is going to be. It's going to be a bag of glass. We're going to get a little death by 1,000 cuts. Unfortunately, we'll try to win most of these divisional games, but I think they're going to be some, besides the Rams game, some of the toughest games of the season for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird to get like 2 divisional games out of the way in the first 8 weeks, but I guess just the way the schedule pans out. But still, it's like you get the Commanders out of the way, but you don't even face the Giants, who are actually coming up in Week 9. That'll be not a primetime game. It'll be a home game for Philadelphia, the new look Giants. What are you thinking for this Week 9 matchup?
Well, until the new look Giants show us something, flashes in the pan last season. Will Scadoo stay healthy? Will Malik Neighbors even play the first 6 games? The knee injury is more serious than we thought there.
He's not even practicing.
But yeah, they got some talent over there, and I don't doubt that the coach can get him going there. Harbaugh can get him going.
Yeah, he's got the pedigree, but I still think the team's a little raw, and like got young pieces. It's just giving them the experience and staying healthy, right? Because all their young guys have been banged up with Dart and Scatman, and obviously Malik Neighbors. Week 10 is the bye week for the Eagles. That's a pretty good spot, right? Smack dab in the schedule. What do you think of that?
I love that
for the bye week.
Kind of an opportunity to split the season in half, kind of as it were, and just kind of say like, okay, like we got these 2 halves, like let's kind of, let's play hard, but let's kind of think, okay, like obviously we want to be 10-0 after the first half, or 9-0 after the first half, but probably not going to happen. Let's see what we can do and then finish strong. Perfect spot.
I like it, man. I don't think you can get much better than that. Week 11, Eagles off their bye will be hosting their interstate rival Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers and gang. It'll be in the late window, 1:25 for us on the West Coast, 4:25 Eastern. What you call the Battle of Pennsylvania? Do the Steelers have a chance here?
We'd have to go back to Big Ben Roethlisberger to plead the last time the Steelers won the Battle of Pennsylvania. Sorry, PF, but I think it's going to be another tough year for the Steelers. Hopefully Dowdle gets out there and Rodgers kind of slings it. But no, the Battle of Pennsylvania is going to the Eagles, just like when the Battle of Pennsylvania comes to the Super Bowl, going to the Eagles as well.
Well, Steelers, I thought, had a solid year. I mean, they won their division last year. Obviously, playoffs didn't go as well. But, I mean, the offense, you need some boost. They did bring in, Michael Pittman from the Colts, and obviously DK in year 2. Actually, they signed, what was that running back from Carolina? I can't think of his name right now. That really... Dowdle. Yeah. So I think he kind of fits their... system a little bit. Interesting. I mean, that offense needed some work, but yeah, I think it's...
He's hurt a little bit, though. I think he's expected to be back sometime.
That's like his whole career.
Week 1, yeah, so...
He's had injuries, like even in Dallas a couple years back. I remember that. We shared the We shared the backfield there. So speaking of them, Cowboys, they're up next, week 12. Thanksgiving, obviously, at Dallas. The tradition, Dallas always hosts the Thanksgiving game, just like the Detroit Lions do. Do the Cowboys take this one, or is it the Eagles in week 12?
Yeah. Dak wants that turkey leg. He wants it bad, and he wants to show out for his fans. Yeah, I think Dallas might clean sweep up this season.
Okay.
Bad feeling.
Dallas coming out swinging on Thanksgiving. All right, then we'll go on to week 13, man. This is probably the most straightforward matchup of the year at Arizona. Might be a slight letdown spot spread-wise, but, I mean, does Arizona have any chance to win this game?
I've seen teams lean on a running back and just flourish and have not much else.
Yes.
That being said, if Jeremiah Love wants to make a name for himself, he runs like he's mad at the turf, then who knows? He could get 4 rushing touchdowns in a game. The defense could come together and, win it.
It's going to be hard.
28-21, whatever, right? No, I understand that. But I'll still give it to the Birds. I'll still give it to the Eagles, but the Battle of the Birds. But,
Jonathan Gannon revenge game?
Sorry?
Jonathan Gannon revenge game?
Yeah.
Probably not.
There's a lot of angles. There's some angles for sure.
I'm interested to see what Marvin Harrison can do. He's had a kind of a disappointing start to his career, and let's see if he can be like what he was projected to be. And then they still have the tight end, McBride, right? So, like, on paper, you got some solid pieces to your offense. I don't know what the defense is going to look like, but I think 3 or 4 years, watch out for Arizona. Week 14, big matchup. Hosting the Indianapolis Colts, Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor coming to Philadelphia. Week 14, what are your thoughts, Jer, in this one?
What version of the Colts are we going to see? Are we going to see the dominant first part of the season Colts that just can't do much wrong? Or are we going to see the ones that tanked along the end and looked horrible? Obviously, injuries are huge. I'm going to have to go Birds. I think the Colts, unless Sauce Gardner really, comes to what he was supposed to be. I love Jonathan Taylor, but that Birds.
It'll be a tough one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that. Big matchup in Week 15. Hosting, or sorry, is this, no, this is going to be hosting the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. Week 15, what are your thoughts on this one?
Wow. Well,
Saturday game.
I do see, if Seattle, they got a lot of tough games in their division, but I do see Seattle, if they're kind of up, if they're kind of at the top of the NFC, even if they're below the Rams at that point. I know they want to win their division, but I just see them kind of leaning back on their heels a little bit if they don't really need this win. And I have a bad feeling that the Eagles are going to need this win a lot more than the Seattle at this point. So I'm going Eagles, but
it's going to be tough. Obviously, you're facing the Super Bowl champs.
Right? You can't count them out.
Champs. They got a bit of a new look too, right? Obviously, they're not going to have Kenneth Walker around, and they made some moves on the defensive end. It'll be interesting. I mean, they're not going to be under the radar, right? They're not going to just sneak up on people and be like, "Oh, the Seahawks are coming to town." Oh, okay, cool. Going to be like Super Bowl champs, target on their back,
getting everybody's best try, right? Yeah.
And they do have a first place schedule to face as well, right? They did win the division over the Rams, but most people probably forgot that too. All right, so that's a big matchup, Week 15. Another pretty solid matchup, Christmas Eve, hosting the Houston Texans, Prime Video, Christmas Eve, Week 16. What are you thinking for Week 16?
Oh, can't wait for this one. I think it's just going to be a pivotal game for both teams. Maybe it won't mean the division, but, think it's going to be really important. Whoever comes out on top on this one, I think, is going to be on a high and continuing to dominate. So I hope it's the Birds.
Okay, so I'll put you down for Philadelphia winning that one because there's 3 straight tough matchups. You got Seahawks week 15, Texans week 16, and then week 17 at the Niners. Traveling across the country, 49ers always pretty solid home field advantage there. We don't know what their health is going to be like. That's their number one question. But Sunday Night Football, pretty good rest advantage, right? Because the Eagles will be facing the Texans on Thursday after facing the Seahawks on a Saturday. So 5 days rest to face the Texans, and then get a 10-day break there. So you got to go fly to SF. Kind of a mini bye week, I guess. But what are you thinking for week 17?
I'm still going Niners.
Okay.
Again, this division is going to be so tough. They're going to be battling down to the end. It's going to be very, very likely that the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners are all in the playoffs on the NFC side. So they're
last year.
They're going to be playing hard. Yeah, they're going to be fighting hard. And I think, it's going to be too much for traveling all the way across the country. And they're going to lose a close one.
Yeah, I think that's pretty bang on. That's a Sunday night football game there in week 17. And then week 18, the rematch against the Giants and John Harbaugh and gang. This time at New York. What are your thoughts on this one? Do you think this might be a meaningless game for Philadelphia, or do you think this game will have some meaning to it?
I hope it's a meaningless game, but my worst nightmare is the Giants got nothing to play for but to spoil, and we need this one. I'm going to go Giants, unfortunately, and I hope that we don't need this one.
I mean, I think, this could be a game where, it could be a game, kind of a letdown, right? You're facing 3 tough opponents, and then, you're facing a divisional opponent, but it's kind of this team has been a doormat for the last, 5 years or so, maybe longer. So it's motivation factor. But I think, it's going to be tough. I think Giants almost beat the Eagles, they did beat the Eagles last year. It was a Thursday night game. I remember that game. So they have a little bit of mojo going for them. So let's quick recap. You have the Eagles losing 6 games. They're going to win 6, 8, 11. 11 and 6 you have them. I think that's what they did last year.
Nice.
Right? Pretty close to what they did last year. The 2 losses to the Cowboys, obviously pivotal games, but I think it's a tough schedule. I think definitely the first half is tougher. Then, the middle part's not so bad, and then it gets really tough at the end. There are those 3 really tough games, Seahawks, 49ers, and what else was it there? I can't. But Houston. Some pretty tough matchups.
But if we can carve it out and get into the playoffs hot, I think we'll be better for it. Be already known that we beat the class of the league during the season. Let's do this, right?
The first place schedule is never going to be easy, obviously, right? I mean, you're facing every top division winner, right? And that doesn't get that much of a cupcake schedule after that. But just it's a bit of a Heckle and Jekyll situation because the 24 version of the Eagles was just automatic, and then the 25 version was just, what was this team? Couldn't score, losing all these one-score games. So it just kind of, it'd be interesting to see what version.
Super Bowl
hangover. Jason Kelce gone. Obviously switching these coordinators every year. Another new coordinator on offense. What are your thoughts on this kid, Sean Mannion? Not a kid, but newcomer.
Hearing all good things, but I just can't help but think, who is it? Who's doing this? Is it Sirianni? Is he changing the coordinators every season?
I don't know.
Do they love this guy that much? He's obviously shown coaching errors that have lost us games. And like, I'm not saying fire him. Like, obviously, just won a Super Bowl. They're going to keep him on for, as long as they probably can. Doug Peterson, they didn't. But, yeah.
It's concerning, though, because, like, you're giving Jalen Hurts a new coordinator every year. Like, obviously, he's not like your prototypical drop back quarterback, but I mean, he's produced, man. Like, how many touchdowns the guy scores every year, gives up his body, does the QB sneak, tush push, whatever you want to call it.
I still say he'll end up in Houston for the end of his career somehow. He'll want to go home and maybe even get a Super Bowl for his hometown Texans. I don't know. I just have this weird feeling it's going to happen before the end of his career.
I've been down the road. I mean, he's locked up for a little while, obviously, with the Eagles. Yeah. But who knows in the NFL? It's wild and wacky. Obviously, the health is going to be the number one thing for every team, right? Because, I think most people have handed the Super Bowl to the Rams. They pretty much traded all their draft picks and all their capital for this 1 year, and obviously, Matt Stafford's not getting any younger, so do or die for the Rams. I think they're 6-1 to win the Super Bowl. Eagles are 18-1. I find that kind of good value because, like, I don't think the Rams are 3 times as likely to win the Super Bowl as the Eagles. Like, obviously, they're on paper, they should win, but I don't know, man. Eagles 18-1 sounds tempting. Couple other teams I thought like have a chance kind of out of the blue. Cincinnati Bengals. I know everyone's been waiting for them to be good again, right? They've been shit for so long, but I could see maybe
38 points to beat the Bengals, then yeah, you're not going to beat the Bengals. But if their defense keeps giving up 40, then they're not going to win. But
I just think something has to give because their defense has been a doormat for so long. I just think value-wise, if you can get Bengals like 25-1, I think that's not a bad thing for the Super Bowl. I mean, talent-wise on offense, not much better. Defense obviously has to get better. Hendrickson is going to help, but I just think they're kind of under the radar. People have kind of swept them underneath the rug, and they're kind of like, we've seen their defense, and they're tired. But they are going to have a pretty they don't have a last place schedule, but a pretty easy schedule, I would think. So watch out for them Bengalis. Any other final words as we wrap up our Eagles schedule breakdown show?
I think you better watch out for, like I already said this, but Jeremiah Love, I think he's just going to run wild. He's going to have a great rookie season.
Yeah, I'm just worried about like them falling behind, like fantasy-wise. Like he's going to be a high pick in fantasy drafts. I just think if they fall behind, they're going to have to use him a lot as a receiver. Like he won't be rushing as much. He'll be obviously in hurry-up offense. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, talent-wise, the kid's like he passes the eye test. But I think Arizona could sneakily cover a lot of spreads, maybe get some backdoor covers. Just, being down 14 odd points, 17 points, and maybe losing by 10 or so. But tell us who you guys like as your upstart team. Who's going to be this year's Colts? Who's going to be this year's Daniel Jones? Let us know in the comments, and Jared and I will catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.